Right. Welcome everyone to the monthly Azure Arc Server Forum. This is going to be our forum for May 2026. We've got an exciting agenda planned for you all today. We're going to go through three major topics. First, we're going to just go around and provide some major updates, both in terms of some of the recent agent release notes from our May agent release, as well as a private preview sign-up opportunity with Windows Server 2016. Then I'll hand it off to Vishal, who has an important update and some more general strategic updates to share with the Windows Server Hotpatch management capabilities as well from the Windows Server side. And finally, we're going to have a little bit of interactive session with feedback on Azure Arc and our new RDP capabilities with Bonnie, George, and Eunice as well. So that's what we've got planned for today. And if there are any questions at the end, would love to take that opportunity to have question and answer with the product group as well. So we'll get started. First, as always, we start off by reminding everyone to stay on the latest and greatest Azure Arc Agent version. With the Auto Agent upgrade capability, it's easier than ever to stay on the most recent version of the Azure Connected Machine Agent, and every time there are a whole host of fixes and bug fixes and improvements that are occurring. So I'll just pause there to give folks a little bit of time to go through this and read, but you can see changes across guest config and the AZCM agent across everything from OpenSSL, increases in PowerShell version, some of the baseline customization and compliance reporting capabilities, networking requirements for policy, all the way through the AZCM agent supporting our gateway capabilities, backup, additional Ubuntu status properties, HIMDS refreshes, etc. So there's a lot of new bug fixes, improvements, new features being released continuously. And the way you stay on the latest and greatest of that is by having auto agent upgrade or some agent upgrade processes in place across your organization. So with that kind of high-level overview of some of the agent release notes, which you can always find in our documentation and agent changes, I want to share next a little bit about private preview opportunity for you all. As you're aware, we have extended security updates delivered through Azure Arc. We're excited to share that we're going to have Windows Server 2016 extended security updates also supported by Azure Arc. So you might not be aware, but ESUs are actually just around the corner with the end of support for Windows Server coming up. Sorry, it looks like someone's unmuted. All right. We're going to have 2016 extended security updates actually start in January of 2027. So that's a few months before 2027, Jan 2027, when Windows Server 2016 reaches end of support. And so as part of that, we want to help customers evaluate our capability. And so if you have a customer as account person or represent a customer that is interested in trying out the capability of ESUs enabled by Azure Arc with a private preview for Windows Server 2016, we highly encourage you to use that ak.ms WS 2016 ESU-private preview link in order to sign up. Sarthik on the Windows servicing and delivery team is driving that private preview experience and sign up form and opportunity. But we highly encourage you again to sign up for that if you are interested. So I'm going to put that in the chat as well. But there are three major criteria for this private preview sign up. One, you need to have your own Windows Server 2016 servers in your environment, whether that's standard or data center. They need to be on-prem or in another public cloud. Second, you need to have NDA coverage. So this is exclusive for customers under a Microsoft NDA. And third, you need to have a willingness to provide feedback to our product group based off your experience with 2016 ESU. So if you meet those criteria and are interested in trying it out, you have the ak.ms link shown here, and I will throw it on the chat as well for you all. Awesome. So with that, we're going to go ahead and I'll hand it off now to Vishal to share some updates from the Hotpatch perspective. So Vishal, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Arnav. Yeah, if you're moving the slides.
Yes, or you can take control.
Okay, sounds good. So I have a very exciting news today. with regards to hot patching available on Azure Arc. Our customers have been using Azure Arc and hot patching for a while now. We launched this service last year, and we heard our customers loud and clear that hot patching has become a very critical part and fulfilling that gap that they had when they were trying to do an update of their server. Server updates, as you understand, and keeping them up to date is a critical piece of all admins working on the server, making sure that the workloads are up and running with least amount of downtime and making sure the security vulnerabilities are all patched. Hot patching plays a pivotal role in that particular workspace where you are able to install hot security updates on these Arc connected servers without the need of a reboot. So when we launched this service last year, we got a lot of feedback. Hey, this is very, very critical and very helpful in what we are doing. But there's a super nuance that, hey, there is this additional cost to it, which is causing some kind of a confusion. And also, it wasn't very super clear on how it works with a guest VM running on a host machine that's also having our connection. And so how do you make it simpler? Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is make the life of server admins easier when they are doing patching of their servers and keeping them secure and reliable on the go. So going forward, what we have done is we have completely removed any kind of a billing associated with hot patching for an Azure Arc connected server. That makes it simple, easy for you to go ahead and just connect your servers to Azure Arc and get hot patches as part of that process, right? So it's very simple. There's no additional cost associated. So you just simply connect your Azure Arc to your Windows Server 2025 machines and simply go and enroll in hot patching, and you should be able to get hot patches. Now, for those who are new and do not know about hot patching is a technology which allows you to patch your machines on the go with security updates without the need of a reboot, right? And this allows you to have a higher uptime. You don't have to take a maintenance window. Your processes keep running without the need of a restart. And it also helps you to reduce the cost of patching overall and batch management across your server fleet. Some of the frequently asked questions that we've actually received since then has been like, hey, is this truly free, right? So to be very candid and very honest with you, yes, it is absolutely free as long as you're just connecting your Windows Server 2025 machines through Azure Arc and then enrolling into Hotpatch. There's no associated fee with hot patching. There's no associated fee with just connecting to Azure Arc your machines, right? So there's nothing there. The other question we often get is like, how do you manage the updates or how do you turn on or enroll into hot patching, right? So you can use your Azure Arc portal as you do today to enroll into hot patching. To manage updates, you can use Azure Update Manager. Now, the Azure Update Manager does come with a fee, right? If you're going to use Azure Update Manager, if you have software assurance, then it comes bundled with that, or it's actually a $5 fee per month for using Azure Update Manager. But you can always use APIs that has been released. There's a blog post. The link of this is given here. I think Arnav may share the slides later. But these APIs will also you'll be able to manage updates for these Arc connected servers on the go using these APIs. So you don't really need any other management tool. Or you can encourage your tools that you use today to manage your servers to use these APIs and build those experiences for you so you can use natively on your third-party app management tools as well. The other question we asked is like, hey, now that you've made it very, very simple for us to go and leverage hot patching on our servers, what are the OSs that you support? So today we only support Windows Server 2025 Standard and Data Center. And going forward in Server Next also we'll continue to support hot patching, right? We are not going back as there were some of the questions that was asked, like, hey, are we going Server 2022? No, we are not doing Server 2022. The product was launched with Server 2025, and we just made it simpler for you to use it and ease the pain that you have when you're trying to do updates of your machines. Any other prerequisites? Yes, of course. Besides having your machines connected to Azure Arc, you also need to make sure that virtualization-based security is turned on your machine. That is a technical prerequisite for hot patching. And post that, you can always enroll into Hotpatch using Azure Arc portal. And for more information on hot patching, there is the docs, which is akms/hotpatch docs, where you can go and look at the details of hot patching, as well as if you have feedback, you can always send us at hotpatchfeedback@microsoft.com. And I will also drop in the link to the blog that was posted yesterday, and you can actually read more. Actually, on Tuesday, you can read more about the details on that as well. Over to you, Arnav.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vishal. With that, I think we'll next focus on our next topic for today, which is feedback in terms of the RDP capability. So for that, I'd like to invite Bonnie, I believe. I think George and Eunice will also be supporting for that feedback session. So please feel free to take control of the slides and send in the poll questions, Bonnie.
Thanks, Arnav. George will actually be driving the slides, and then I will be moderating the polls here.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is George Edinpo. I'm a PM on Arca Service. And thank you very much for joining this morning's session. So our customers want a better remote desktop experience for Arc-enabled machines. In particular, there is a strong interest in understanding a machine's state and context before initiating a connection. So in today's session, what we want to do is validate. We're not going to validate a specific solution. Instead, we want to learn from you to understand your current workflows, the challenges, pain points that you face, and how we can improve that experience for you. And so based on that feedback, we can go back and make the necessary adjustments. And so my colleague Bonnie here is gonna run us through a few polls to get feedback. And we have at the end, we have a link that you can take the detailed poll, and we're hoping that some of you would be interested in talking to us so we can schedule a session later and get more feedback. So with that, Bonnie's going to start with the first poll.
Thanks, George. So I just launched the poll in the chat here. Our first question is, to start with, we're curious, like, which of the following do you currently use to initiate a remote access? If you have like other methods that you're currently using, feel free to utilize the chat feature as well to put in your answer. All right. I'm seeing other folks are using remote desktop connection managers and some third-party agent. All right. We'll give another 10 seconds to wrap up this question. All right. Yeah, thank you so much. And then to our next question, we also wanted to know, how's your current process working out for you? Is it easy or difficult to identify the correct machine before you connecting? Also, feel free to use the chat if there's like additional details you want us to know. We have been hearing from some customers, right? Like before RDPN, they would like to identify what's the correct machine or see the status of it. So we'd love to hear, how are you currently using it? And then George, if you're driving the slides, could you also move to the correct slides for that?
Bonnie, I think this is the next one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
How easy or difficult?
This is the one. All right, we're gonna give another couple seconds to wrap up this question. And then the next question we have, feel free to use this, typing your question here, but also if there's other details you would love to put in the chat. We'd like to hear a little bit about what is the most frustrating part of your current workflow when accessing the machine remotely. If you feel strongly about this topic, feel free to raise your hand and unmute. We're happy to dive into a discussion here as well. Yes, Jeff.
Is it on the roadmap at all, or is this kind of where this feedback's coming from to know if you're going to be able to bastion into an Arc-enabled machine?
Can you tell me a little bit more about the need there, and then George, you will be able to fill in a little bit more.
Yeah, well,
I think that's.
mhm.
Go ahead, George. You got
I
it.
was, I
Probably.
was gonna say regarding the roadmap, it's not one that I'm aware of. I would have to sync with my other product colleagues.
Okay, I can sync with you offline. That's
yeah.
cool. Thanks.
Oh, Bastian.
Yeah, we can definitely follow up on that. I see another comment in the chat, says would love our RDP to be incorporated into some type of bastion.
There are a lot of customers that complain to me about not being able to pop RDP from the portal. I mean, I understand it's within the web browser and calling MSTSC is a challenge, but that would be pretty awesome to be able to do that. The multiple authentication prompts for RDP are a little frustrating, right? When you use the CLI, you've got to authenticate once, and then you've got the RDP authentication separately. It'd be cool if it could pass the credentials rather than cache them. If there was a picker similar to that one PowerShell example that was in the chat, that would be pretty awesome. And then of course, Entra ID auth for RDP access is always something that people want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, John. And then to that question, when it comes to RDPing from the portal, is it more of like currently there's like several commands and would want the process to be more streamlined, or are there any other portal visibilities or scenarios that would make this easier?
Well, I mean, the number one hassle with RDP is you have to use the CLI, right? So you've got to install the CLI, and for someone like me, I'm in multiple clouds. The Azure government cloud uses different API versions than the commercial cloud. So I have to downgrade the Azure CLI to use RDP to use it with the Azure government cloud. Like if the portal merely supported popping MSTSC via a button, right? So you click on it and hit RDP if it's a Windows box, and the portal popped up MSTSC for me, or downloaded an RDP file, or what, not that you could download an RDP file because of the way the ports work, but if there was a mechanism that could be automated in the portal without the installation of the Azure CLI, that would make it infinitely easier to use RDP.
Got it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that perspective.
Thank you, John.
All
Should I
right.
move to the next question?
Yeah. I see there's like a lot of other folks already start thinking about it. This is where we want to gather and brainstorm a little bit, like how can we help improve your RDP workflow? We're already starting talking about it. I wanted to use this chance to gather a little bit more feedback here, and feel free to leave it in the chat as well.
Oh, I thought of one other thing. It would be cool if when you kick off the workflow via CLI, if it ran a remote command to add the user to the RDP, local RDP users group, like AVD does. Like if RDP isn't enabled on the target host, that's another step that has to be enabled before using the process, right? For AVD, for example, there's automation that adds RDP or adds the user to the local RDP users on the host as part of that workflow. Hopefully that I don't know if that makes sense, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, you're looking for ways for us to improve the connectivity experience.
right. Well, like the first time when you initially add Arc to a Windows host, if you want to use the RDP, you've got to make sure that remote desktop services is enabled, and then whatever remote user you have is in the remote desktop users group, right? So it could be an administrator, which would be typical. But enabling RDP is something that, as a separate step, people have to go run a remote command via Arc to enable RDP on the remote box, and then make sure that the user's in the group. And so that could be handled via the RDP workflow, I think, right? I don't think it is.
Thank you for your feedback.
Thank you for the feedback. I'm also seeing a lot of echoing on the comments on the RDP via portal. Would love to hear also like some elaboration on like how, like, is it more of like an easy access, or is it more of like a visualization? So I think our next questions might sum up this a little bit better, and also feel free to add in the chat if some of the solution here we propose doesn't really resonate. But basically we are brainstorming on some of the improvement side. Sorry, I wrote the question a little bit mixed up, but feel free to just select the choices that you would like to see, and especially around like what would help you the most. Then also, George, if you wanted to navigate to the last slide, I wanted to not end our conversation, but lead to this. We wanted to like connect with you all. If you are passionate about this scenarios and wanted to raise more feature, we're actively trying to look to connect with you. So the survey takes about 5 minutes, but at the end, if you opt into it, please feel free to share, and then we will connect back with you for some follow-up sessions and dive into more details here. George, do you have anything to add here?
No, I'm really hoping that folks will respond to the survey, and those of you who are interested, we can sync with you and move on to the next steps. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And thank you all so much. I'm going to drop the survey link in the chat as well. Really appreciate this community to give us feedback. And again, hope to connect and to hear from some of you soon.
Thank you. Arnav, back to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, George. Thanks so much, Bonnie. And thanks so much for everyone for attending today. If there are any other questions, we'll quickly pause there if you want to raise your hand and share. If not, looks like we have no other questions. Happy to give everyone some time back. And again, we'll have our YouTube recording uploaded as well for this and more information posted. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. Take care. Bye.